Hello, everyone. My name is Maggie Lear, and as the board chair of Youth Represent, I am very happy to welcome all of you to this funder briefing. During the next 30 minutes, you will hear from our executive director, as well as several program directors who will give you an overview of our work. With just 16 staff, we punch well above our weight in our three focus areas: individual legal representation, strategic litigation, and systems level advocacy. This year, Youth Represent turns 15, and over the past 15 years, we have served more than 53,000 young people and their families through our workshops, legal representation, class action settlements, and youth programs. For our birthday, we created the best present we could think of: a bold 5-year strategic plan that builds on our 15 years of success and will be our roadmap to using creative new approaches to reach more young people here in New York City. To follow along with us today, please see a link to our strategic plan in the chat box. It can also be found on our website, youthrepresent.org/impact/ I think it's /reports. Youth Represent is dedicated to standing with youth across all 5 boroughs as they make their way from beyond the courtroom and back into their communities. We recognize that our work is made possible by the support from partners like you. Thank you for joining us today and for being such an important part of our work. I'm now going to turn it over to our Executive Director, Mike Pope.
Hi, y'all. Good morning on this beautifully cold day in New York City. We're so happy to have all of you here today. As Maggie indicated, thank you, Maggie, as well. As Maggie indicated, for the last 15 years, Youth Represent has zealously advocated on behalf of New York City youth who are impacted by the criminal legal system. And I'm so proud to say that in that time, we've made tremendous impact and established ourselves as a critical youth justice organization. We've also learned in that time as well that representing the community requires empowering them to help define and shape our work at every level. We've seen that youth justice lens and a racial justice lens are inextricably linked. And we've recognized that addressing the challenges that young people face means we must address the policies and the practices that create them. So our renewed 5-year strategic plan is a youth-driven, ground-up strategy that will advance our commitment to equity and anti-racism, center youth voices, and deepen our programmatic impact. The plan continues our focus on youth while expanding our ability to empower young people to drive the direction of our work. It broadens our efforts to build power in creating systems change while more fully incorporating young people's needs and their voices. It continues our work to fight systemic racism while outlining active steps we will be taking to advance diversity, equity, and inclusion and accessibility, both internally as well as externally. I'm so grateful to all of you who've made this journey with us over the past 15 years. I'm thankful to our committed and incredible staff, our board members, our partners, our donors, our funders, our friends, who've all played a critical role in the impact we've created so far and the impact that we're going to have moving forward. Frankly, most of all, I'm grateful to the thousands of young people who we've had the opportunity to continue to engage with and who shape our organization and our work, and who have shared their wisdom and power and leadership with us in building this plan. Now I will pass along the mic to my colleague, to dive deeper into the 3 programmatic areas that we focus on in our strategic plan, and it'll come back to me to talk about some of the internal focuses. But first, let me start with Dale Ventura. Dale, welcome in.
All right, thank you so much, Mike, and thank you everyone for taking time to share space with us. My name is Dale Ventura, and I am the Director of Community Legal Services at Youth Represent. Later, you're going to be hearing from my colleague, Shamari Ward, to further discuss our strategic litigation. For those of you who are not as familiar with our work, we provide direct legal services and education in partnership with community-based organizations. This work drives transformational change for youth, builds power and knowledge in the communities we serve, and helps us to better understand the needs of young people. We represent clients in various legal settings essential for successful reentry. This includes support for youth facing employment discrimination, eviction, school suspension, family court challenges, and other criminal and civil legal issues. Now, as we all know, COVID impacted everyone, but we've seen it harm our most vulnerable youth who are struggling for a multitude of factors in their lives. During the height of the pandemic, we were operating fully remote and had to find new, innovative ways to reach clients beyond our community partnership model, which relied heavily on our in-person engagement. We established a hotline and used various digital means to create more channels to connect to our legal team remotely. We began using online surveys after a virtual workshop to identify youth who would benefit from speaking with us for a legal consultation. Now that we are fully back in person, we continue to utilize these new methods as many of our partner sites have adopted a hybrid approach to their programming. Now, through our strategic plan, we hope to expand access to our services to what has been termed crossover youth. These are youth who are impacted by not only the criminal legal system, but other systems, such as the child welfare system, education system, and public housing and shelter systems. Although our current partnerships allow opportunity to access some crossover youth, we want to expand outreach and intentionally partner with organizations that directly serve this population. Some potential areas of expansion would be to partner with shelter systems and foster care agencies. In doing so, we hope to expand opportunities to youth who previously did not have access to our services and resources. Now, when we think about impact through our direct legal services, we have to keep in mind that the needs of the young people we serve are not static. Their needs are evolving and largely dependent on the systems and institutions that are impacting their daily life. In the past year, we have seen a significant increase in the number of Black and Brown youth being stopped by police. Many of the youth in our Know Your Rights workshops express deep anxiety and fear with the increase in police presence in their communities. With our strategic plan, we want to make sure that our legal services are most responsive to and directly addressing these needs. We developed a strategic screen to help us identify the legal areas we should be stepping more into and some we should be stepping away from so that we are most effective in how we utilize our resources. Connected to all of this is our plan to ensure that our staff are sufficiently trained to take on these legal matters. We will be revisiting our training series. We will be working in collaboration with our staff to identify any gaps in knowledge or additional training that is needed to support both long-established and new areas of practice. We will also connect with organizations throughout New York City to support and build out our internal capacity in areas where there is high need, but where there are only a few organizations that can actually directly take on the work. For instance, as we expand to bring our reentry services to youth who are navigating homelessness and unstable housing, we will need to make sure that our staff have competency and a working knowledge on the shelter system and available housing options so that we are better positioned to understand the unique compounding challenges these youth are facing. Although we are not housing experts and cannot assist on every matter a youth brings to us, it is critical that our staff are able to effectively issue spot and identify resources in the community that can offer that direct support and be connected to them. Our strategic plan will allow us to be more intentional about identifying what information gaps exist and how to best deliver and increase our staff's competency in all those areas. We are more than excited to see the wire that will be, and as a result of these movements and changes. And now I'm going to turn it over to my colleague, Shamari Ward.
Hi, everyone. My name is Shamari Ward, and I am the litigation director here at Youth Represent. My job at Youth Represent is to identify and investigate potential individual or class action cases that provide systemic changes for young people from indigent and historically oppressed communities. Historically, Youth Represents special litigation was born out of our clients' inability to secure gainful employment due to their documented criminal history. In response, we pursued systemic litigation in the area of employment discrimination, where employees unlawfully deny our clients job opportunities based on our clients' past interactions with law enforcement. Litigation here at YR has included lawsuits against Macy's, Walmart, Winolo, Madison Square Garden, and so on. To date, Youth Represents strategic litigation has secured for clients and class members over $8 million in settlement funds, which has provided support for over 24,000 individuals wrongly discriminated against for having system involvement. Since being at Youth Represent, I have had the pleasure of overseeing and vetting cases that systemically and financially benefit the young people we serve. The opportunity to be gainfully employed without question is of paramount importance to our clients. However, our clients have needs, both related and unrelated to reentry, that extend beyond the realm of employment. These legal issues are fertile ground for future strategic litigation cases. Thus, in an effort to improve our ability to better serve clients in this manner, we are in the midst of developing and implementing our own litigation screening tool to ensure, among other things, that young people have direct input into our litigation efforts. Through this screening process, we aim to focus our litigation on the areas of legal practice where we can bring the greatest level of systemic change. Additionally, our strategic litigation practice uses laws our policy team have championed as a mechanism for social change, laws that aim to counter discriminatory laws that historically have oppressed under-resourced communities of color. For example, our legal team worked closely with our policy team to support the passage of the Fair Chance Act, which resulted in increased employment opportunities for our clients. As more of these discriminatory laws get rolled back and new, more fair and progressive laws replace these outdated laws, Youth Represent sees an obligation to ensure corporations and governmental entities with which our clients interact treat them fairly in accordance with these updated laws. Using strategic litigation, we are able to carry out this obligation. Strategic litigation remains one of Youth Represent's most useful tools in our toolbox. As such, we plan to utilize litigation to our clients' benefit as often as possible. And now I'd like to turn it over to my colleague, Kate Rubin.
Thanks, Shomari. Sorry, I'm struggling with the unmute button. Hi, my name is Kate Rubin, and I'm the Director of Policy at Youth Represent. On the policy team, we work at the state and city level to push for policies using a divest, invest framework. Government must divest from systems that arrest, detain, and imprison Black and Latina youth, and invest in the kinds of programs and resources that make young people and communities truly safe. Everything from safe, high-quality housing to schools, to parks and green spaces, to violence interruption and reentry services. We do all this work with young people at the center. That's the abstract way of saying it, but how do we put that into practice? We lead the campaign to pass the Youth Justice and Opportunities Act, which is a campaign to expand alternatives to incarceration, cap sentences, and allow for immediate record sealing for young people up to age 25. This campaign, which our campaign organizer, Aaliyah Galore-Nickens, helps to lead and coordinate, has the potential to impact thousands of young people 25 and under who are arrested and charged as adults every year. We serve on the steering committee of Communities United for Police Reform, which is a campaign to end discriminatory and abusive policing in New York. We're active members of the campaign to close Rikers and to pass the youth interrogation bill, also called Right to Remain Silent. And we're also supporters of Clean Slate and Communities Not Cages. A crucial part of our strategic direction is that we're not just working to pass legislation, but to build the movement for youth justice in New York. And nothing exemplifies that more than our campaign for the Youth Justice and Opportunities Act, or YJNO. This campaign is about young people, so young people play key roles in all aspects of it. Building the strategy, developing our messaging, including our campaign website and our campaign logo, planning events, meeting with legislators, doing outreach, and leading workshops with other youth. As Aaliyah says, without young people, there is no YJNO. The campaign also provides young people opportunities for young people to do civic engagement and public speaking in a way that isn't theoretical, but very concrete and relevant. In this past December, our youth committee members took a leadership role planning a rally for youth justice in Harlem, calling on our elected officials to pass YJNO and right to remain silent in this legislative session. The youth committee set the messaging for the event, choosing to lead with "Let's tear down the walls between youth and their futures." They created a social media campaign based on the prompt "Respecting Youth Looks Like," which we posted leading up to the rally. They did outreach in Harlem in the weeks before the event, focusing on organizations, also canvassing the neighborhood. Aaliyah emceed the rally, youth committee leaders helped lead chants, and one of our youth leaders, Kamel, spoke on behalf of the youth committee. It was a cold, gray day in December, and we had an amazing turnout and really high energy outside the Harlem State Office building, setting exactly the tone that we needed to set coming into the legislative session. In February, we had our first advocacy day, where our youth committee members and young people from partner organizations in the campaign traveled to Albany to lobby for YJNO. Youth committee members and other young people took the lead in every meeting, starting with introductions, explaining our bill, asking elected officials to sign on as co-sponsors. They took the lead in drop-ins, getting some staff members to meet with us on the spot. We attended a rally in the Capitol in support of the Child and Family Wellbeing Fund. And after the rally, Aaliyah was able to grab Assemblymember Khalil Anderson and have an impromptu meeting with him. He's 26 years old, maybe 27. He was elected to the State Assembly when he was 23. He shared his story and his path to getting elected, including being in special education classes for all of K through 12 schooling, which was really inspiring to some of our youth committee members and staff. In one of our last meetings of the day, with a key member who chairs a committee that will need to vote on our bill, another youth leader, Cody, explained how getting involved with advocacy work, coming to Albany, doing meetings like that is itself an opportunity that can show young people who've been in the system a different path to feeling powerful and being part of something. Just last week, we brought 7 youth committee members along with our staff to White Plains for a Westchester rally for youth justice, anchored by some of our partner organizations there, the incredible Youth Shelter of Westchester and Westchester Children's Association. Aaliyah emceed that rally and made it a high energy event, including dance breaks, open calls for young people to come up and speak their truth. And we're now planning a bigger lobby day for May after the state budget is done. And based on the success of the February lobby day and the momentum from events, everyone is really excited to make that a huge youth-centered day in the Capitol. Meanwhile, through our City Dreamers program led by Psych Wilson, we recruit and train more young people in advocacy skills and public service with a focus on community building. And this year, we actually extended City Dreamers past the planned end date in December into January so participants could finish collecting coats for a winter coat drive. And these are some examples of how we're putting our strategic direction in practice right now. Over the next 5 years, we'll be building on this work, developing and winning changes in state and city laws and budgets to reduce youth incarceration and invest in communities, recruiting, training, and supporting young people as active participants and leaders in youth justice campaigns, and building campaign structures that ensure youth and adult advocates are working in partnership. Increasing cross-practice collaboration here at Youth Represent to ensure that our clients have the opportunity to be involved in advocacy work and that we're using all the tools, as Shomari said, to build a stronger youth justice movement driven by young people's priorities. I'm just going to take a last moment to be honest and say that the flip side of all of the excitement and the momentum of the organizing work we're doing is that passing legislation, especially legislation that makes for transformative change rather than tinkering around the edges, is a long and grueling process. It takes years to pass laws that we think are absolutely urgent, many months of rewrites and amendments and tinkering with legislative language, and also of lobby days and organizing and trips to Albany. And we often spend years after we win defending those wins when we get them. So it's just so important to have support that sustains the work, not just in the short term, not just the years when we get a big win, but over the long haul. And with that, I'll send it back to Mike Pope.
It says spotlighted you. Would you like to unmute? Okay, sorry, unmute myself. Yes. And mine had a weird thing too. Thank you, Kate. Also, just to pick up on that, I mean, years defending, literally this morning, we're now trying to rally and we will send out information on this. Bail justice rollbacks happening, and we need to start actually fighting some of the rollbacks that are happening on bail justice that just came out this morning. So Kate, to your point, it is exciting, and I'm so thrilled of the work that we get to do, but it is 2 steps forward and fighting that 1 step back. But thank you, Kate. Thank you, Shamari. Thank you, Dale. So we've covered our programmatic vision within the strategic plan. And I'm here now to roll out the plan and discuss the 2 strategic goals to drive change throughout our organization. And that is for us, 1, to build an authentic, innovative, youth-driven organization, not just something on our website, but something in reality. And 2, to deepen and expand our DEIA efforts. So first, let me address the importance of the youth-driven strategy. So we're committed to empowering young people who've been impacted by the legal system to participate fully in our work. We believe that young people we serve should be guiding our legal services, our strategic litigation, and our policy reform activities, gaining skills and experience in the process, and empowering us to make the most important and impactful decisions possible. We will create a powerful model that builds up and shares power with the young people we serve. We do this because we believe that when we create models that empower youth with systems experience to drive direction and share decision-making power, we will be a stronger organization and bring about true community-driven systemic change. Now let's move to our commitment to diversity, equity, inclusion, and accessibility, DEIA. We have spent the last few years focusing on building and advancing our internal training and successfully advancing diversity representation at all levels of our organization, from board to staff. We are very proud of these achievements, but we also recognize that this is just the beginning. Over the next 5 years, we will build practices to center DEIA in all decision-making, planning, policy review, and development. We will be advancing the diversification of leadership to reflect the communities we serve. We will also develop and release an annual DEIA reports that provide an update on our organizational diversity data, including how our DEIA efforts are realized through our interpersonal actions, organizational culture, and programmatic outputs. Finally, we'll be implementing a robust DEIA curriculum with staff and clients' input to become an organizational leader that not only represents a diverse workforce, but prioritizes itself as a space where equity and inclusion are felt within our mission, work, and culture, and ultimately the youth that we serve. Both of these final 2 internal focuses, the youth-driven and authentic DEIA integration, are done not just because it's the right thing to do, which it is, but because it reflects the world internally that we envision externally. And importantly, doing so will make us better, a better and more impactful organization that brings our vision into reality. So with that, I don't know about you all, but I'm incredibly excited about our plan. This is a bold plan, it's innovative, it's excited, and I am deeply excited to work towards this new vision. With each one of you, our community, with this incredible group that you've heard today of our leaders, with the staff that we have on board at Youth Represent, and importantly, with the young people that we serve. With that, to my colleagues, Shamari, Dale, Kate, our board chair, Maggie, so lucky to work alongside each of you. Thank you to Monica and Maya, who are providing an incredible amount of back-end support for this event and all events that we have at Youth Represent. And thank you to you all. We have a diverse group of folks here from California, Washington, upstate, New York City, a future board member of Youth Represent, little inside intel for you there, possibly, and just an incredible group of people and longtime supporters. We so deeply appreciate you. If this plan excites any of you, if you have any questions, you want to learn more, literally, I will come to you. I will bring the coffee. I will be so excited and proud to talk about this plan any place, anywhere. So just shoot me an email, mpope@youthrepresent.org. Literally, all of you have my email. I'm very excited to talk about the plan. And with that, we will give you all back 5 minutes of your morning. And thank you so much for your support and your belief in young people. Thank you.